Knuckles Comic Issue 17. We start off with an echidna flying up to Angel Island, stunned at actually getting to see it again. Oh, he has black and yellow eyes. Is he a cyborg? Well, then he meets Julie too, so I guess it's not in the past. And it just looked washed out because that's the way the art was. She's riding a horse with evil-looking black and red eyes. So what's that about? Since when does a Dark Legionnaire get to have a horse? I mean, why would she have one in the first place? And it's never mentioned again. The echidna is terrified at seeing her, immediately recognizing her as Dark Legion, and she shows compassion, asking if everything's alright and apologizing for scaring him. He attacks her, thinking this was his last chance to make things right, and she defends herself, saying, "Now get off me! I didn't do anything to you!" Making things right by attacking an innocent person. He says that the Dark Legion did something to him. I'm guessing that explains the eyes, but the Brotherhood would be very superficial to fire him just because of the way he looks. But considering how they demonize Sonic and Knuckles, I won't put it past them. They're a horrible judge of character. We cut away with her still being attacked, to Knuckles meditating with Archimedes, being impressed with him, or not, never mind, as he's complaining about Knuckles sitting on top of a skyscraper thing to meditate. Why should it matter where you're meditating? Knuckles tells him that while he has missed him, which is sweet, he's been away from him for a while and things aren't the same anymore for some reason. But sadly, he leaves before Archimedes can have a talk with him about it. Knuckles then glides down with his eyes closed and says that he could see his flight path before him with the guiding star gem. Good, this came back. Although I can't help but wonder why he still got lost in the Badlands then. He contributes him knowing his way home from that place to the stone, but he didn't know his way home. He had to make a portal just to get there. Just as Julie shows up with Locke being nice enough to simply describe her as Knuckles' friend, the power goes out because a circuit shorted out the generators. Good, I didn't want to hear them badmouth her just because she's former Dark Legion. The emergency power was working fine for the med labs, which is good news for Hawking, I guess, but then it's revealed that they have another patient in the cryogenic chamber that one of them almost forgot about. Maybe he doesn't really care. We'll see that patient later. The other one asks how he could forget about their honored guest after all these years, especially with the boy wandering. Too bad he got cut off, but again, we will learn about this later. He's told that he never forgot, even though he just did, and that he never believed in aligning themselves with an outsider's cause. We then see Knuckles and Julie meet up with Tober, a former guardian of the floating island. It's nice that they were all able to convince him to sit down with them like this. Knuckles asks for proof, which annoys Julie because it seems rude, and it's revealed that the white collar ring of Knuckles actually has a purpose. It's a mutation unique to the Guardian family, and Tober proves that he's a part of it by having it. Like, they put so much effort into this, they could have easily not explained this at all. Tober explains that he was 20 years old when Hawking had appointed him Guardian, but he was disappointed that his father said he had to return to the floating island and it would be up to him to look out for the people while he was away. After he reminds Hawking that the floating island had been destroyed by the dingoes at that point, Hawking says that he can still restore it, and leaves. Then we're told that it wasn't long before he experiences baptism of fire. Did we have to have the word baptism in the Sonic comic? Outside the city limits, where the hydroponics gardens have been made to replace the vast tracts of farmland left behind on the floating island because fuck growing food for a growing population, the Dark Legion then attacked, because I guess putting them in another zone wasn't good enough. This seems very arbitrary. I mean, the Ultimate Annihilator hadn't even been fired yet, so we can't explain it as the zones between barriers breaking down, and that's why they're able to escape their cage so easily. He had fought with Rex, the leader of the Dark Legion at the time. What reclaiming? Everyone's already using it. It's obvious by the fact that they still have their skyscrapers up. At the end of the fight, Rex activated the device that allowed the Dark Legion to cross over to the zone, blasting the two of them over to the floating island. But wasn't that place turned into Chernobyl? Shouldn't they both be getting sick right now? Some ancient ruins collapsed on them, and Tober's father found him injured, but it turned out to Tober's disappointment that he saw his father carry away someone he believed to be him. Was something blocking his mouth? Was his jaw broken? Is that why he couldn't call out to him? Did he and Rex switch bodies? I guess that's what happens when you activate a warping device while holding onto someone's arm, but I can't help but feel like that would be contradicted, or was contradicted. Either he switched bodies, or his father is the blindest person in the world, and has no sense of smell to confuse someone for his son. I mean, it's his son. You'd think he would recognize even the tiniest little details about him. It's not like these two were twins separated at birth. That's the only way I could explain them. being easily mistaken for each other. A day later, he managed to free himself, but he was so ashamed of failing his first crisis as a guardian that he was unable to face anyone, and wandered Mobius for decades until he discovered the floating island. Discovered? But he already did! He already knew it existed. Why did he think he'd never see it again? It's not like it disappeared. He said that he thought he wanted vengeance, but what he really wanted was to have a family again. Then a sweet moment happens where Knuckles says that he may not be what he was looking for, but he is family, and he gives him a hug. Meanwhile, Locke locates the fried circuit that caused the power outage, but then says it was an original circuit, meaning they might have to reconstruct a new one from scratch, and they'll be out of power in the meantime. Oh no! They won't be able to uselessly spy on Knuckles while doing nothing to help! And then the story ends with Knuckles foolishly walking right up to Kragok in jail to talk to him, calling him his distant cousin. How do you know how he was related to you? And I hope Kragok's chained down or something to avoid a fight, but he doesn't look like it, so this seems way too risky and pointless. Not to mention the jail was taking a huge risk by not getting rid of Kragok instead of pointlessly keeping him alive in prison. This story by Ken Penders felt pointless, at least when I finished reading it for the first time. I did feel sorry for this failed guardian, but it felt pointless because they didn't make it clear how meeting Tober led to Knuckles finding out how Kragok was related to him. So where's the transition there? It made the Tober story feel like a pointless diversion that inexplicably led to Knuckles confronting Kragok. There really is a connection there, but still. I liked learning about another guardian at least, but I failed to see the point of it before I read the next issue. And that's all I really have to say about it. It wasn't bad, just felt pointless in the end. And it wasn't properly explained why the hell Dark Legion were able to evade Echidna Paulus that easily, or how they got defeated afterwards.